working. I want to talk to everyone about run form and elite run form. So hang with me while I make sure Facebook is going to let me do this thing. It would be helpful if I did this. All right, that's what we're going to look at in a second. I want to talk to you guys about elite run form versus your run form, because you can learn a little bit about this, and I'm going to show you how you can leverage your run form to run faster. Because the cool thing about run form is that if you can do it, you can actually get faster without having to train harder, run more miles, and do more speed work. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about what the pros do so you can use it in your own running. And if you want some help, on July 12th, I'm actually doing a 4-week boot camp to teach all of this, and how do you do the stretches to make this happen, the strength to make it happen, how do you rewire bad running form so that you can actually change it for the better. And from my own experience and from the athletes I've worked with, this makes a huge difference if you're someone who struggles late in a race or a run, or someone who scuffs and shuffles. That's a big thing. So what I want to do is I want to show you the elite first, and I want to show you how most people run, because you can probably identify with the latter of the two. And the key phrase that you need to know here is if you're on the ground, you're slowing down. I talk about that a lot with my runners, because most runners, which we'll show you in a second, run and they're constantly on the ground. So let's look at the pros, and you'll see this. If you ever watched a race, you'll see like, oh wow, that person looks really fast and that person looks really fast. And then you have a different run form towards the mid and back of the pack, typically because they're going to try to shuffle their way down the road and muscle themselves. So let me show you this video here, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment when I'm going through this. We got some people on from India today. That's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to look at this runner, and you're going to watch him. He's loading onto his left foot, obviously, and you're going to watch him push off. Here's what I want you guys to see. So right at this point, his foot's leaving the ground, right? So this foot's pushing off on the ground. Now I want you to take note of this other leg. See how he's got this leg coming forward, driving forward on the horizontal. He's pushing off on the other leg. That's what I want you to focus on, because watch how this leg, when it leaves the ground, he's off the ground, 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 still off the ground till he touches here. That whole time that runner is off the ground, he's surging his way down the road, and he's actually taking up space. There's this idea in running that you need to have this really high cadence, really high turnover. And while that's somewhat true, there's a good cadence for people. Most people have a pitter-patter run form, and they never get this carry. This carry is critical to running faster. When you push off, you need to carry down the road. Now this is somewhat speed dependent. See how he's off the ground this whole time? The foot's not even back on the ground yet. You need some form of carry. Now I'm not asking you to run like an elite, because I can't, and likely you can't, but you can learn from what they do, and it does make a huge difference, because I'm going to show you how most people run, and you don't have that carry. Remember, when you're on the ground, you're slowing down, and when you're on the ground, you're actually increasing your risk for injury. The key is to maximize when you push off. Watch, I'm going to show you one more time. When this runner pushes off, we want him to maximize his forward force and hover over the ground. We don't want him to launch up in the air, because I'll talk about that in future videos, where you want to make sure you don't launch. You want to make sure you're going down the road. So again, if you want some help with this real quick before I show you the other runner, go to openmystride.com, or the link in this post. On July 12th, we have a boot camp that's 4 weeks long, that's going to teach you how to run faster with better run form. It's great for shufflers. It's great for people who scuff or have trouble picking up their feet. And it's not by doing butt kicks. I saw someone post that the other day. You don't do a butt kick to lift your foot. That doesn't work. It's wasted. All right, so this is how most people run. Now remember, let's take a look at that. Remember that other runner I showed you? When they were pushing off here, they weren't, look at this other foot, touching down. So think about that runner that carried versus this runner. This runner, when they touch to the ground, this is how far they're traveling. Now imagine for a second the other runner, when that other elite runner pushed off, they carried and then came to the ground down here. That whole time that they're off the ground, they're surging forward. They're pushing forward. The trouble is most runners run this way. They don't pick up their feet. They have what I call banana running, something like this. Let me shut that off. Let me show you what banana running is real quick. And if we trace this foot, it's going to look something like this. They don't ever pick up their feet. They just kind of fall along that banana, and they don't have that wheel-like motion. To get that wheel-like motion, it is not about doing butt kicks. I can tell you that for sure. It's not going to generate you any speed. What you want to do is drive from the hip. You want to be able to push and surge from the hip. We use a term in Need for Speed, the program that's coming out on July 12th, is figure 4 position. You need to identify your figure 4 position. I will talk about it in future videos, but the key thing I wanted you to get from this one is one main thing is that when you're on the ground, you're slowing down. You need to be able to push off and carry in your run form. And when people get tired, it gets worse and worse and worse. So the stride gets shorter, more compact. You want to open that stride up. You want to travel on every push. Imagine if you traveled 2 inches extra 80 times a minute. With 160 times a minute, 2 extra inches on your stride. That's a lot less time you have to push into the ground and push yourself down the road. So this stuff makes a huge difference. A lot of times I'm talking about run form for injury prevention. This is purely a speed play, people. If you want some help with your run form, join me on July 12th, a 4-week boot camp to teach you all of this, to teach you how to use a little bit what the pros do. I'm not going to teach you to be an elite 2-hour marathoner, but I am going to teach you to use some of the strategies they use to make your runs faster. So check out the link in this post if you're interested in joining us for that. openmystride.com is the link. And I hope everyone has a great day. I'll be back tomorrow to talk a little bit more about how to work this into your training and also some of the stretches and stuff that you could use as well. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.